Alright, so we're gonna talk about Resident Evil Death Island. Um, so yeah, the big deal about this movie was it's the return of Jill finally, and not only that, it's like all the major playable characters in one story at one time, and it's great. Like as a Resident Evil fan, it's about as fan servicey and like as true to characters and like a canon story as you could do. I feel like so. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I watched the bootleg first and then I bought it. Um, but yeah, so I thought this was like a sequel to Infinite Darkness that was on Netflix, but like apparently it's a sequel, direct sequel to Resident Evil Vendetta, which I totally forgot about. I didn't see that one. But I have the other two CG movies, Degeneration X, which was like big because it was the first time Leon and Claire were back together, so to speak. And Damnation, which I barely remember. I remember like not liking it as much, but I don't know. I might have not even finished it. I used to buy movies a lot and then like not really watch them. Speaking of Blu-rays, like it's funny. The last two Blu-rays I've bought are this and Welcome to Raccoon City. I have a lot of Blu-rays, but I didn't take care of them for a long time, so a lot of them are fucked up. uh, Test the limits. Very normal, please. But just real quick on Infinite Darkness, I really liked it because it finally gave Leon and Claire some sexual tension. And I like that scene at the end where like she's kind of like disappointed in him and giving him shit for being like a government stooge. Oh shit, the ballistics. That's one of the great things about this movie is on the bonus features it's cool because they're talking about like how they designed Jill, and at first I was like laughing because it's like it's just basically the Resident Evil 3 remake design. But they were serious about how like no, the face is different and the outfit shows some more clavage. But they showed like a side by side of like Resident Evil 3 screenshot and Jill from the movie. And it's like, damn. It went all out. Double the fun, double the size. Or more. Um, oh, this in 3D, because I saw the 3DS version first. It was really sick.
It's been 94 minutes since Chris and Jessica dropped off the radar.
But the interpolation from their last known coordinates puts them
Right
Because, yeah,
behind the ship.
when I first played it, I didn't have a 3DS, and so that's why this game. That's why this game reminds me of Neon, because that's why I thought she was so cool, because she had a 3DS, and she had a Resident Evil game that I'd never played or couldn't play. So I got the purple, metallic purple 3DS, and yeah, we play raid mode. I tried to play this over the years, but I've never really gotten that far. It is a cool game though. But yeah, it's essentially a handheld game. But anyway, so yeah. The movie starts out with, timeline-wise, it's like sort of the beginning of the outbreak in Raccoon. It's like these umbrella guys that are like getting sent in. They don't know why, and like two of them are friends, I guess. And they're like, "Oh, we could have been in San Francisco, fucking chilling or fishing or whatever." And they basically like get told that like they gotta protect the border. There's a fucking outbreak, and one dude's like, "What do we do if they try to get past us?" And they're like, "You're authorized to shoot to kill." And the two guys are like, "Oh shit, this shit's real." And then it like shows them coming out of the van, and it's like that barricade, kind of like you see in Resident Evil Apocalypse, where they like shoot all the civilians. That's like my favorite Resident Evil movie, I think. And then this one, and then Welcome to Raccoon City. But anyway, so yeah, and you see like there's an executive coming through, an umbrella executive, and he's like driving crazy through the barricade. And then you don't see it, but basically like all the soldiers are like in a room and they're all fucked up because the zombies got them all or whatever. And the one guy's like calling for evac, and the guy on the other end is like, "You gotta quarantine everyone that was injured or whatever." And the one dude's like really like scared, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And then the other guy's like the one doing shit, and so they quarantine all the guys, and they get on the walkie and they tell them, "All right, now you gotta kill these dudes before we'll send evac." And the one guy's like, "What the fuck are you doing? They're our friends or our team or whatever." It's like, we gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. And then they're all like busting through the glass, the zombies, and he starts shooting, and the one guy's on the ground, and he's like crying like a little bitch, and that's like the intro to the movie. And yeah, and then after that they have like a title sequence, which is really cool. It shows like dates in the Resident Evil timeline, and I like slowed it down on the Blu-ray, but I could see like Spencer on like a certificate or some shit, and because like the timeline starts in the 60s, and I was like, "Oh shit, Spencer." And then like this document that they all signed, Spencer, Ashford from Code Veronica, that turns into the Nosferatu. I think that's their dad, right? Or maybe it's their grandfather or some shit. And then and Dr. Marcus. Dr. Marcus? Spencer had me assassinated. That's my favorite part in Resident Evil 0. Oh, the herb. And as a Resident Evil Zero fan, like this movie makes me happy to see Rebecca, even though I guess she was in Vendetta also. So I definitely need to watch that now. um, but then yeah, so after, and it also uses like little snippets of game footage, but it also shows like the the new Jill in like her classic outfit, which is sick, with the hat, the beret. She wore a raspberry beret, a blueberry beret. That's Jill, that fine ass, and
Here, take a look at this.
Parker, give me a hand here.
Sure, no problem.
Porker. I like that he's a fat guy. And then yeah, the next scene is Leon, and he's talking to Hunnigan. He's on a motorcycle, and the voice is Matt Mercer. Well, I always hear Overwatch when I hear his voice, but I mean, you get used to it, and he's actually pretty good. He's got like a drawl, like fucking Overwatch. What's his name? Quick Draw McGraw.
It's not Chris.
But yeah, and he's got to chase these dudes that like these terrorists or whatever that like hijacked the DARPA chief. I was like, oh shit. I don't know if they say DARPA, do they? He's like a scientist, but on the box. Oh. Get blasted. Yeah, Leon Kennedy is on the trail of a kidnapped DARPA scientist. So it made me think of Metal Gear. DARPA chief. Her face does look a little weird in this game. The depths. The Dante's Inferno motif I thought was interesting in this game. And so yeah, he has this cool little chase scene. It's like on a highway, and I was like, oh, it made me think of Matrix Reloaded. And then like this fucking leather chick comes in on a motorcycle, and they have a duel. And at one point he like, you know how like cars when they're shipping them on like the back of like an 18-wheeler or whatever. I always think like they're gonna fall and you have to like dodge them, but that's actually what she does. She like loosens them from the top, and Leon has to dodge them and shit. And then he like rolls up on her and shoots her tire out, and so she like wheelies up onto the ramp and jumps off, and then she's like fighting with him on the motorcycle, and then he like bumps her up against like another 18-wheeler, and she like does like a wall run, and then it's slow motion, slow motion for me, and it's like, oh okay, it's totally Matrix Reloaded. And she like uses her heel to like hit the brakes on the motorcycle, so he has to jump off, and the cycle flips away, and then she's like on the back of a truck, and she got away, of course. And Leon has a cool, he's a funny one-liner. Like his whole thing is like his one-liners or whatever. And he's like, I love that bike. And he's just standing in the middle of the freeway.
It is now
It would have been funny if
2005,
someone was like cussing at him, like,
calm and
get the
security
fuck out of the
is
road.
finally returning. But, as you can see, the lost city of Terra Grigia remains inaccessible, a silent and potent symbol of the threat that Bioterra poses for people around the world.
She's whack. Change that shit. Like Beavis and Butthead. Cool. Did they ever say cool? This guy looks like Bill Murray to me.
O'Brien, you don't normally join the fray.
Well, my doctor told me I need exercise.
Nice outfit.
I assume you both know
But
that
anyway, so yeah, the next scene is like,
entire area.
it's in this like, starts in a garage and it's like
Mysterious carcasses
dark
washed
and
up.
spooky.
I guess the FBC couldn't
It's supposed to
cover
be
up a
like the
mess
scary
this
part of
big.
the movie, and then you finally see
Anyone
Jill
who knows what happened is
and,
gonna put two and two together.
And that's why I've sent
some guy on her
CIA into investigate.
headsets, like, you know, wait for backup, set up a
Pick up
perimeter.
your new equipment from Quint.
And she's like, nah, fuck that, I'm in there.
Genesis.
Looking for survivors.
Is that its name?
You didn't bother to
And,
read the manual, did you?
It's
No,
funny because she's doing like
brought
this
it with me, just in case.
You read quickly.
flashlight
You're gonna
kata. And she's like, click, 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 click. She's got her gun out. She's like, click, 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 click. But she finally makes her way upstairs and she sees like a dead body. And, oh yeah, this was here because of the 3DS. Or you have to aim at shit and scan it.
The Genesis requires a decent sample size to get an accurate reading. Scan the carcasses on the beach.
It worked better when you can just tap on shit. Get analysis.
Ah, look at this mess. Oh, they're rotted to hell.
Have a look at this.
How you do?
I'm getting something from inside it.
Oh, I could have shot. Oh, you just run automatically. So yeah, she makes her way upstairs and sees the dead body, and then like she comes out into the hallway, and there's like a mirror behind her, and you see the zombie like kind of coming after her. That actually did make me jump, even though I saw him coming a little bit. And she has to like fight him off by like falling over the railing. Oh shit.
It moved!
Careful, you two. God only knows what's going to fight us when Peter
I can't figure that. Don't worry, we're on it.
You guys are weird. Perverted. And yeah, it's cool because they fall over the balcony and they land on like a glass table. And she lands on top of them and shoots them in the head and they fall through. It was pretty sick.
Proceed with extreme caution.
And then Chris comes in with a SWAT team and they're all aiming at her. And he's like, oh, no, she's with me.
Complete analysis. Gather some more samples from the carcasses on the beach.
And of course he's like, you know, why didn't you wait and all that shit? And you're fucking reckless.
Careful now.
Don't worry, I've done this before.
And then after that it cuts to like, it's a beach scene kind of like this, where like there's a orca that like
I've got
dried up on shore, and Claire comes in and she has to like, check it out or whatever.
What is
And
this?
she talks to this like fishing game guy or whatever,
Orientation?
fish and wildlife.
This could be lengthy.
And he's like, what the fuck do you do? What does TerraSave do? She's like, we support victims of bioterrorism. And the guy's like, that's weird. And then she investigates the orca, and it's got like a giant bite, and it's like too big to be like anything normal or whatever. I gotta get 100%. Whoa.
Ugh, that smell must have ruptured from gas.
Christ, what a mess.
Granada. Use weapon with R1. So then, yeah, after that, cuts to a scene with Chris and Rebecca, and I was like, oh shit, Rebecca. The first like couple shots of her are kind of like iffy looking, but she looks cool later on. But anyway, she's like, he's like, oh, she's like, where's Jill? And like, oh, I made her do paperwork. And she's like, oh, is that punishment for going in alone or whatever? And she's basically like telling him that, like, you need to think about how she's feeling about what Wesker did to her and shit. And he's like, I don't blame her for that. And Rebecca's like, no, but, she blames herself, you dumbass. Because Chris is a meathead. And then, oh, it's cool. It goes to a scene with, like, she's, like, doing target practice or whatever. And there's a great shot where it's like a profile of her shooting, but it's close up, like, right here. Well, like, the camera it's basically like a close-up of her tits with, like, but you can see the gun, in her hand, and then it, like, focuses to Chris coming in. Because it's interesting, like, they were talking in the bonus features about how, like, they wanted to use Jill in a CG movie for a long time, and I guess Capcom, like, just were hesitant or whatever, because it's like their most special character, right? And so, like, I guess their way of convincing him was like, oh, modern audiences love strong female characters or whatever, but, like, what's cool about Jill is, like, she's not, like, she has vulnerable moments, and there's moments where, like, she's scared and shit, so it's not just she's not just not a Mary Sue, but like what's the new term? Girl boss. So yeah, he basically, like, comes in and tells her that he's worried about her, and she talks about, like, how she's dealing with Wesker, making her attack them and shit. And he talks about Piers from Resident Evil 6. He's like, my boyfriend, I let him die. And she's he's like, you know, don't let it make you numb or whatever. And she's like, you know, I don't have time to fucking think about my being numb or, you know, how my soul's doing or all that shit. You know, I'm all about the mission or whatever. And she just goes back to shooting. Beautiful. Getting your analyze rate up to 100 will earn you health recovery.
I've collected enough samples.
Good. Get them to me ASAP.
Well,
Why the hell don't these things stay dead?
Hurry up and neutralize them.
it was a weak ass grenade. $110%.
Finally, some peace and quiet.
All in a day's work for you two, eh? All right, enough chit-chat. Get that sample data to me.
And then, yeah, they have a funny scene where it's like
Is everything okay?
kind of everyone meets up together, like in the fucking employee lounge at TerraSave, I guess. I guess that means Rebecca works at TerraSave because she was already there.
No coincidence.
But they're like,
The FBC
Claire's
okay.
pouring coffee,
Well, we can all
and it's like the dialogue's really fucking like I don't know, stilted or whatever, because she's like, how are things at the BSAA? And he's like, oh, you know, dealing with bad guys. What about you? How's TerraSave? And she's like, same shit. Bad guys or whatever. Or we have our own brand of bad guys or whatever. It's just like a funny scene the way they talk. But it's cool seeing them all together like that. And basically, like, Rebecca tells them
What happened?
that the orca that they found has like some T virus in it, and there was a scene earlier where like the scene with Chris and Rebecca, they were looking at some dead bodies
Signal was lost over the ocean.
in San Francisco that are like infected or whatever, but it's not through like a traditional bite or whatever, and it doesn't spread, you know, from them. So, and then so basically they say like the orca was swimming through these waters and it's Alcatraz. So Chris is like, oh, I'm going to Alcatraz, I guess. And so they're on the boat going over there. And it's funny because he has like a Hawaiian shirt and they're going to Alcatraz Island. And you see like a big ass shark silhouette under the boat. And then on the way there, like Rebecca calls and says like, oh, I can, you know, synthesize an antidote or whatever. It'll just take time. Which, you know, will come into play later. So they go to Alcatraz and
Alright, then let's find
they show the bad guy. He's like in a control room and his gimmick is like that
You hear that? Was that the lock?
he
I'll
plays
check it out.
Russian roulette with
I'll see what I can
himself
find.
and also
Copy that.
the
I'll
DARPA
radio
chief
you if I
guy.
pick up Chris's trail.
And he's like at a computer screen, you know, and the scientist is all scared and shit. But yeah, he's making him do some shit, and he does the roulette to himself, and he has the blonde chick there, the hot blonde chick in the leather. So he's the one basically pulling the strings. and it cuts to flashbacks of him at the beginning of the movie. He's like one of the two umbrella guys or whatever, and it shows how like the guy that was shooting all the other soldiers to get the evac, he got injured doing that, and so the dude that was bitching on the floor crying, he has to like, he's faced with having to kill him in order to survive or whatever. So yeah, they get to the island, or they get into the prison, right? To the Rock. Welcome to the Rock. There's a scene later that reminds me of that. Looks like it did. Can I go upstairs? It's funny because there's like this stupid vlogger or whatever, and like it's kind of from his POV at first of them in the cells, and then like of course someone starts turning into a zombie, and then they all have like a shootout and shit, which is pretty cool. And like what's different about these zombies is they can like jump on walls and shit. And it's cool because like one way that like I feel like it's the ultimate kind of Resident Evil fan service story is like it, you know, it has that slow build to where there's, you know, no one, you know, infected him first, and then it like kind of one by one they start turning real slow, and eventually they kind of like get cornered. Oh shit. Chris and Claire kind of like escape into like a little gated area, and Jill's kind of like on her own, and she sees a guard with an assault rifle, but he's too scared to use it or whatever, and he like kind of falls through the floor, and she follows him down there, and like she gets the gun and she sees if the guy's okay, and he like starts turning, so she has to shoot him, and so she's like in an underground area, and then she's in an underground area, and Chris and Claire are kind of locked up in a little gated area, and they find the DARPA chief hiding in there. But at that point, you see the bad guy. He's like releasing a cage into the water, and it's like a bunch of aquatic liquors, and you see the big shark. There's always a bigger fish. I always think about that when I see like underwater shit. And then yeah, so Jill's kind of like in this underground like sewer type area, and another shadowy figure comes out of nowhere, and they have like a little CQC fight, and then when they roll into the light, they recognize each other, so it's like the first time Leon and Jill meet each other, which is pretty cool. And then yeah, one of the liquors, like you see the tongue and shit, and Leon's like, uh-oh. He knows what it is, but I guess it's cool because like I guess technically Jill, she's never seen a liquor. Although there were some in 5, so I don't know. But it's cool because the liquor like comes up to her, and like her tongue like grazes her tits and shit. It's cool. It's kind of like Alien with the little head coming up to Sigourney's face. Well, cake zombies. Oh shit! Nice shot. Alright, we cool. Oh, I got a grenade. Oh no, I don't. I forgot that was a flashback. What the fuck, dude? How do you use it? Oh, okay. Nice.
What's going on?
I found a survivor. The BOW's got her, though.
Who was she?
I'm still trying to piece that together.
Yeah, this chick, she looks like the bad girl in the movie. They don't mention that as an inspiration in the bonus features, but they look pretty similar to me. I always like this chick. There's nothing that can identify her. Let's see what the Genesis can tell me. Yeah, zoom in on that. Well, she's like Batman. Crew quarters.
Parker, I couldn't find anything out of on the woman, but I did find a key.
Copy that. Hold on to it. We just might need it.
Yeah, so eventually, like, the liquor gets real close and something falls, and Jill tries to stop it, and then something else on top of it falls down and makes noise. So they have to start running away from all the liquors. And she's like, how many are there? And he's like, I didn't stop to count or whatever. And then they come around a corner and she like, he like gets a explosive barrel and throws it at the liquors and blows them up. And he's like, 0. And she's like, what? He's like, that's how many are left. 0. I guess I gotta go back. Well. There's no droppings. Oh, you're supposed to scan them, right?
I found Chris. Make your way to my location.
Join up with Porker. Quit moving. And so yeah, it's cool because Leon and Jill have to team up for a minute, and there's another funny part where they're going through this tunnel, and she's like, "What is this tunnel?" And he's like, "It's an old way to move around munitions in Alcatraz when this was a base or whatever." Whatever the fuck he says, and But the joke is basically like, it's like it's Alcatraz. What do you think it is? You know, and she's like, oh, very funny or whatever. And he's like, but the joke is basically he's like, it's like I'll add after this I'm gonna add tour guide to my resume or whatever. And she gives him a little chuckle. Oh fuck. It take forever to go down. Yeah, I remember this guy. Oh damn, I'm out of bullets. Bullets. You get a knife? A knife? I don't think so. Interesting. Oh, I guess that works. I didn't mean to do that. So yeah, they get to like this underground level, and there's like a canal with like a submarine. There's no water there yet, and they basically end up getting to like the little lab or whatever, where you find out what the DARPA chief guy was making. He was making like these. He's like a robotics expert, so he's making these like drones that have a virus in them, and you know, the bad guy talks to them over the intercom and shit. And they get to the jail cell area where Chris and Claire and the DARPA chief are. And that's where the bad guy pops in, and like they get infected with the little drones, and they start, you know, getting weak or whatever. And I guess the bad girl or whatever like puts them in the cells, so they're locked up. And he kind of like lays out his plan, or he lays out why he's doing this. He's like, he's mad that people in power made him kill his friend or whatever. And he wants to like, I guess, kill all the like world leaders or whatever. And then yeah, as the bad guy's like laying out his motivations or whatever, it cuts to like another flashback, and it's showing that he was since he didn't have bullets to shoot his friend, but he was gonna do it because he pulled the trigger, and so then he like gets like something heavy and starts bashing him over the head. But that's why he plays roulette, because he's trying to make up for killing his friend, and I guess to him, like, since there wasn't a bullet left, he wasn't meant to die that way, you know. But he had to do it anyway to get out of there. And then he goes through every character and points out, like, why he doesn't like them, or, you know, why he wants to kill them specifically. Like with Leon, he's like, you know, you work for these people that cover up the truth and are corrupt or whatever. And he says all this shit about them, and then Leon's line is like, yeah, well, it's a living or whatever. And then like with Claire, he's like, you know, you think TerraSave does shit, all they do is give out band-aids or whatever. And she's like, her comeback's like, nothing wrong with being good or doing good for people or whatever. And he's like, yeah, you tell yourself that or whatever. And then
Chris and Jessica.
The signal was lost over the ocean.
and then with Chris, he's like,
Right here on
you know,
this
every
ship.
mission you go on, you get someone killed. And
I think it's a gun. This is not good. Where are you, Chris?
and then like for Jill,
What is this?
he doesn't infect her on purpose because he wants her to like make the choice that he had to. Because like if she were to shoot Claire, then like the DARPA chief would survive or whatever. Because she's like about to turn, and you know she'll eat him or whatever. And he's like, you could do the right thing, but your emotions get in the way. And Jill's like, fuck you, whatever. And he basically does like the bad guy thing where he just like leaves and expects them to die on their own, you know, off screen or whatever. Oh, I forgot about this shit, dude.
Slow down, Chris.
We're almost there, Jessica.
This is where the game starts to suck.
Certainly hope so. My feet are killing me.
Our source indicates the camp is on the far side of this peak.
Did she die? I've never even like gotten to the end.
Maybe
If
it's
he
the
got her
weather, but
killed too.
I still can't make contact with HQ. Who'd have thought we'd be stuck
BSA.
out here for so long?
Yeah, but before the bad guy leaves, he shoots the DARPA chief, and then like he has a scene with Claire where she's like trying to like stop his bleeding, and Chris is like
Oh, the plane!
saying some inspirational
My God,
shit like
it crashed!
the world's fucked up, but
There shouldn't
that
be
doesn't mean you
shipwrecks in
don't
this area.
fight to do the right thing or
Intel we
whatever.
got on Velcro was on the
And
money. Come on.
the scientist is like, you know, how can you be so calm? We're all gonna fucking die. And him and Leon are both like, we got Jill. So that's cool. She's like
Jesus.
the main hero.
No one could have lived through that.
Investigate the site. Let me know if you find anything.
Search the crest. Oh yeah, and then like earlier before all that shit, like, or while that was going on, there's a part where Rebecca has a phone call with Hunnigan, and I feel like she's like rude on the phone, cause like she calls her and Rebecca's like, you're the one that works with Leon, right? And Hunnigan's like, yeah, enough, no time to fucking chit chat. Like, she was just asking her a regular question. But she basically finds out, like, the terrorist wanted info on all the main heroes and shit. And she has to go help them. So she has like the cure to the vaccine for the virus, and she goes in with a SWAT team, and that's the part where it's like The Rock, where they all like infiltrate the island. Biohazard.
Found some faint traces of a virus here.
Chris, do you really think we're dealing with Ultra
You
again?
get a pill. for
Hard to
doing
say.
it.
I find it difficult to believe they survived Terra Grigia, though.
And then so yeah, Rebecca and the team like they kind of like come up to the island, and there's like a shaky little bridge that it's like an entrance or whatever. But before they can get there, is this the right way? I'm supposed to go in here. But before they can go in, like they see something on the radar that, oh shit, something's coming at us, and they're all like getting ready for it, and it's like the big ass shark, and it fucking kills all the soldiers. But of course Rebecca survives. Velcro.
We should check out the plane more thoroughly.
Come
See
on,
what we
come
find.
on, Java, come on, hurry, come on. What? Oh, do I scan him? Flight plan.
The manifest should give us a lead to work with.
Let's see. They were headed for Valcoin Mock Airport.
Isn't this
That's where they
the
are.
game where they
Some
implied he's
Martians
gay
just there.
because he doesn't hit on her or anything? Or she tries to hit on him or some shit. What did it say?
Jessica, I need a hand.
Hold on.
I didn't have to mash anything to open it. And so yeah, in that same like sewer area from earlier,
This cave is
Jill's
too
like
cold.
coming out and she
Should've
sees
worn
someone
your thermal
coming,
underwear.
and she's like, "Oh, Rebecca." There's like a lot of cool like moments when they first meet each other, like, because I don't know if they interact in Resident Evil 1. Maybe they're all on the helicopter, like on the good Chris ending or whatever. But she's like,
Did you hear that?
no, go save them. I gotta go after the bad guy or whatever. So Rebecca comes in and inoculates everybody. She gives them all the vaccine. Oh fuck. And a shot.
I think you're infected. Careful, Jessica.
See?
These guys are bullshit on hard or whatever it is. Inferno.
Was the plane transporting these things?
Looks that way, doesn't it?
Then Veltro is back from the dead.
Yeah. We have to stop them before anyone gets hurt.
So yeah, Jill catches up to the bad guy. Oops. I thought I had a knife. Whatever. Just shoot it. Yeah, she catches up to the bad guy and he like he shoots himself with like this green shit, green T virus shit. And oh yeah, he like let the water in to that little waterway, and he sees like a big shark, the shark from earlier, and he like falls in the water, and she's like, what the fuck? And it like eats him and mutates the shark into this big creature. It has like a face that looks pretty cool. It looks like a Dark Souls boss. Oh, we can summon. Oh yeah, I forgot. Like before that, Leon's off fighting the blonde-haired chick, and like I said, this is a sequel to Vendetta, so she is like a character from that movie, because I guess he killed her dad or whatever. But they have a pretty cool fight. It's cool on the bonus features seeing like the motion capture of how they did it. But eventually he like kicks her onto a fucking rod that's like sticking out of the wall for some reason. It's kind of like Resident Evil Apocalypse again, where what's her face, Alice kicks Nemesis onto that metal thing. Is this the beginning? I actually think Jill, like with her hair and stuff, she looks like Mila Jovovich. Mila Jovovich. Nice sounds. Oh, that's how you know it. BOW decoy. How do you use that? Oh, I got too much. So yeah, then at that point everyone converges and they all like have like a hero shot and they have to fight the monster. Oh, wrong weapon. Yeah, it's cool because like they said how like they wanted to use a lot of the weapons from the games, and like at one point Chris has like one of the like rocket launchers with like the 4 sockets or whatever in the front, and
So, Jill, was it?
Was what? Stay focused.
oh, this is
She
it.
was
She
your
like
partner
gets
before,
jealous.
right?
Yeah, my partner from before. What about it?
My partner.
I was, just asking.
You like her? She got Uggs on. Chris don't like that. And oh yeah, in the movie, like Chris has like the fucking Rambo machine gun, and there's like a 2-man rocket launcher he uses with Leon, and it's dumb because he fucking shoots him in the side. Everyone knows you gotta shoot him in the face, and Jill finds like this big ass plasma rifle, and she has to like charge it up. And it's got like a little meter, and she hits it once, but it doesn't kill it. And before it can charge again, he like comes up to her and hits her. She's like, "Oh fuck." Oh yeah, and I forgot another part. There was a part earlier where like when the DARPA chief was dying, he gave Claire like a password to stop the drones, I guess. And so Leon's like, "Hey, you got that password? Why don't you use it to help us out instead of just standing there?"
It's just my leg.
And
I'm not going anywhere for a while.
so Claire and Rebecca have to go find the computer and stop the drones.
I'll be right there.
And it's funny, before they walk away, Rebecca's like, "Don't die." She tells that to Leon. I kind of wish Rebecca had like been like gushing over Leon or whatever. You know, like how people are thirsty on Twitter for Leon. That'd have been funny if she was like that, you know?
Damn, there's too many of them.
Oh.
Shit, my ammo's not gonna last.
Oh yeah. How do you use it? Oh. I thought it was pressing R1. Damn, that's sexual harassment in the workplace. Oh, I'm out of fucking BOW shit. I'm dead. Oh, damn. That was bullshit. Oh yeah, there's a funny part like at the beginning of the fight scene where it kind of like it starts off in slow motion and Claire does like this fucking acrobatic swan dive or whatever. It reminds me of the Resident Evil movie, the one where they fight Wesker, and it's like Chris and Claire versus Wesker. The one from Red Letter Media where Rich Evans is laughing his ass off at that fight scene. It was like that. Because I feel like in Japan, like, the movies were successful, but I think they took it more serious in Japan. Like, it wasn't as silly as Red Letter Media, like, reacted to it. Damn, they make you start all the way over. Oh, this is where it falls in.
My leg. I'm not going anywhere for a while.
But so yeah, Claire and Rebecca, they get the drones to like, I guess they attack. Oh fuck. They attack the monster. Although they don't really show it. Like it's on a computer monitor. But basically, like, the monster's weakened, and he's trying to go back into the water. And Reminds me of Deathclaw. Go into the water.
Damn, there's too many of them.
What's the herb? Oh yeah.
Shit, my ammo's not gonna last.
I better try and save him.
Me and my sweet ass are on the way.
Misogynistic. Use the shit. Dude, help me up. You sweet ass. Oh, she just let him go by.
Can you stand?
Thanks. I'll be okay.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Nice scissors.
Bring
Go
what
through
up?
the mine.
Do you trust me as much as Jill?
There's no need to compare. I trust you both. Besides, trust is built through actions, not words.
That's so like you, Chris. It's always about the job, isn't it?
Like how he turns away. I guess that's what made people go, oh, Chris is gay. Because he's all about the mission, I guess. So is Guile, isn't it? Oh, well, he's got kids, right? I gotta go through the mine. So, yeah, the monster's like trying to go back into the water. And Jill's basically like, no, you don't. She like comes up to the monster and like she calls him a bitch for like being sad he had to kill his friend. You know, she's like, so what? And she like jumps in the water. And like as the floodgate is coming down, it like lands on the monster. Kills him finally.
Look, is that the airstrip?
That's their hideout.
And so it's cool. Then there's like a shot, like, yeah, you know how like the games end where it's like dawn and
Chris here.
they're looking into the sunlight and they're outside and
The interference here killed our signals.
they're like, man, that sucked or whatever.
Damn it. It's all a setup.
What do you mean?
Early on's like, oh, tours suck or whatever. And then
Now I've lost contact with them.
Jill's like, yeah, but we kicked ass. And then and
What's going on?
Chris comes up to her and like fist pumps her.
Better look at this.
And he's like, good to have you back, Jill. And then, yeah, that's the end of the movie. Happy ending.
Not gonna find this. We found the Veltro crest.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I watched it twice. I liked it better the second time.
Then the setup that got Jill and Parker. It was all.
Yeah, I'd almost guarantee it.
Probably because it wasn't a bootleg.
Jill and Parker. I hope that's not a problem.
Not at all. Make your way to the Mediterranean, and we'll keep you posted.
And it's cool on the bonus features. It's like
What's going on?
We'll
it's
sort
like
it out.
one of the producers of the games interviewing the people that made it, and he's talking about how like he feels like he kind of has to live up to this movie because of how they brought Jill back, and one of the guys is like, I hope Capcom makes a Jill game, and the producer's basically saying like, you know, the next game they do, they want to live up to how she is in the movie, which is cool. So I'm hoping like they kind of just go from this point and we get like a game where they all like have a campaign or they all intersect and work together again. Because that was really cool seeing all the characters be like, they all got their own colors and shit. They're like Power Rangers. But yeah, I enjoyed it.